This is my trial run for the speech I plan to give at the Doncaster Church of Christ on 11th of May. Dear friends, I heartily thank the organizers from the Doncaster Church of Christ for giving me the opportunity to outline to you, the constituents of Menzies, why I am best placed to represent you in Parliament. My name is Sanjeev Sabhlok. I'm contesting from the Australian Federation Party, or the Federation Party in short. The Federation Party is led by Peter Harris, who was the founder chairman of Family First Party many years ago and has returned to politics after a gap of over 15 years. Peter Harris is a fervent Christian and wants to see the return of the values which we have lost due to the woke movement of the last few decades. For instance, our party will ensure that abortion is not treated in the manner we treat the extraction of a tooth. With a PhD in economics from the USA, I am the economic spokesperson of the party. As an economist in the Treasury Department in Victoria, I have advised the treasurers of Victoria on a wide range of public policies for 15 years. Our party is a safe pair of hands. We do not tolerate extremist policies. We are committed to keeping the size of the government and taxes under control. We are committed to fully costing our policies. We are committed to the ideas of reason and liberty that emerged from Christianity and which underpin the Western civilization. As I explained in an article in The Spectator a couple of weeks ago, the Western civilization has two main pillars. The first is that the government must not interfere in the life of citizens without a strong justification. And the second is that public policy must be based on evidence, not on the arbitrary whim of the government. Since Australia's major party politicians have generally followed this process in the past, I never felt the need to join politics. I was a happy commuter traveling to and fro to work by bus from Bulleen. I had migrated to Australia in December 2000 after resigning my job as a senior civil servant in India. After taking citizenship of Australia in 2005, I mainly voted for the Liberal Party, but did not find anything particularly obnoxious about the Labour Party either, at least in comparison with the parties we have in India. Australia was a good place to be. But in March 2020, everything changed. The policy system that we had of risk-based, evidence-based proportionate intervention by the government gave way to policies straight from the playbook of Communist China. Yes, COVID was a serious pandemic. We needed to take measures, but these measures had to be targeted to the actual risk. Victoria's pandemic plan of 10 March 2020 committed to targeted risk-based approaches. We needed to cocoon our elderly without brutally isolating them from their families and recommend precautions for everyone else. But the Liberal and Labour parties tossed out our own plans and adopted Wuhan-style lockdowns. Victoria exploded with police atrocities in July 2020. I found myself serving a Labour government whose police was behaving no better than third world police from India. They almost choked a young girl for not wearing a mask outdoors. A man not wearing a mask was hit by a police car and had to be sent into induced coma to save his life. And they snatched the phone of an elderly lady sitting on a park bench. Ethics and morality is, to me, the most important thing in life. We had moral education classes in the Christian missionary schools I went to till grade 8. But one doesn't have to be a Christian to know that beating up people in the name of protecting their health is wrong. By April 2020 as well, the data were clear. All models and predictions had failed. This was no Spanish flu. COVID was in the range of the Asian flu or Hong Kong flu. The whole country did not have to be shut down. Many economists within the Treasury Department in Victoria asked for a cost-benefit analysis of these public health policies. Our request was denied. I then raised my concerns about the police state in Victoria on my Twitter account. In September 2020, the department asked me to remove my tweets. I resigned. I will not be silenced when innocent citizens are beaten up. Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott commented on my resignation on his Facebook page. On 16 September 2020, he wrote, "There's not a lot of courage in our public life, and there's even less honor. I don't know Sanjeev Sabhlok, but his piece in the Financial Review is a timely and potent contribution to the debate that has been stifled for far too long. He's resigned and openly published what he thinks needs to be said. Bravo." End of quote. I then wrote a book, The Great Hysteria and the Broken State, in October 2020. A sitting Liberal Party MP of the Victorian Parliament, Neil Angus, read it and wrote to me about it. I quote, "I have just finished reading your book. I thought it was excellent and heartily agreed with your views. In my view, we have faced the darkest time in Australia's history due to gross government incompetence." End of quote. I engaged directly with Tony Abbott and Matthew Guy in a Zoom-based international conference in December 2020 and physically met a number of Liberal MPs subsequently. The Liberal Party seemed to support me and my resignation because they initially thought I was only opposing Dan Andrews. No, I was opposing the entire body of lies being told to this nation, including by Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Mr. Morrison compared COVID with a once-in-a-100-year event, placing it in the league of the Spanish flu. He gave his blessings to border closures and totalitarian policies across Australia. And now he has claimed that his policies have saved 30,000 lives. I consider the Prime Minister to be the biggest liar in Australia's history. Recently, the world's most cited epidemiologist, John Ioannidis, has confirmed to me via email that COVID is 50 to 500 times less lethal than the Spanish flu. If we account for the fact that the Spanish flu killed mainly the young, while COVID mainly kills the elderly, we're looking at an effective lethality of COVID that is around 150 to 1,500 times less than that of the Spanish flu. And we locked down Australia for this. Professor Gigi Foster of Sydney is preparing a cost-benefit analysis of these policies, on which I am assisting her. She thinks that with the most charitable assumptions, these policies might have prevented, but mainly delayed, around 10,000 COVID deaths, mainly of the elderly. But these policies have harmed vastly more, mostly younger people. ABS data show that there were 7,233 additional non-COVID deaths in 2021 compared to what we might have ordinarily expected. Many of these deaths, 3,146 in all, were cancer deaths of people who were made so fearful of visiting their doctors in 2020 that their cancer could not be diagnosed and treated in time. And there were 947 excess dementia deaths and 494 excess diabetes deaths in 2021. Children's education and mental health has been badly impacted. Thousands of small businesses have lost a lifetime of work. When all the harms and benefits are counted, the harms exceed the benefits by many orders of magnitude. COVID policies have been an unmitigated disaster. The Federation Party is committed to following in the footsteps of Robert Menzies. We are determined to become Australia's real Liberal Party, but with a huge focus on values, Christian values. We will stop the slide into socialism of the Liberal and Labour parties. Please keep in mind the lies and incompetence of the Labour and Liberal parties as you enter the polling booth. Do you want honesty, decency, and moral values in public life, or cowardice and deception? Please vote number 1 for me, then for the Freedom parties, and do not forget to place the Liberals and Labour last in any order that you wish. My many thanks once again to the Doncaster Church of Christ for giving me this opportunity to speak. Thank you.